Raid 9. Welcome back to another Bit Legends video, fellas. We are doing the Lost Harbor today on epic difficulty, and I'm just showing you the team comp that I'm using. Now, this isn't necessarily a guide, because rolling in here with one of the best teams possible in the game and being like, okay, you guys can do it, a little bit disingenuous. But I'm just showing you what I'm doing. So you should have seen I have two Slayer Guild Boss guns. I have one Raid 8 gun, and that is important because it has a heal. One of my guys has a jingle, which I don't think is necessary. In fact, I think the offensive pets are better because you're killing stuff faster, which means you're taking less damage, but I just want to let you guys know. And then I do have the 5-piece. This is not optimal for Raid 9. This is optimal for Guild Boss 5, but it's what I got right now. I should have the 2-piece Raid 8 that'll give me more hit point percentage, probably within 12 to 24 hours from filming this video, but hey, I'm filming it now. And the reason why I'm showing this is because the 5-piece bonus, it's going to be increased from 3 SP to 10 SP, because right now it's way too weak, but just pointing that out. So 3-piece Guild Boss and 2-piece Raid 8 is the best tank set in my opinion if you're doing Thunder Fury, but we can talk about tank stuff later. So there you go. That's the team. Let's get in here. Hopefully, we'll have a good run. I've been doing really well. I haven't failed anything on manual. I don't think it's ready for autoing. And okay, so you kind of see all the trash on the screen here. I'm not going to try to skip anybody. In fact, if I try to cut the corner, I don't want to run into the jets first. We can do it, but I would prefer not to. Those jets that you see, they have a better chance of sniping out, and here we're running into 2 of them, so that's great. But anywho, we're going to start off. The first battle is typically the most difficult because you don't have SP to start off. Bounty hunters get a little bit. But the third enemy that you see here, not including the tombstone, is the jet. And I think they're more difficult because they have more speed so they can hit first. And they are able to snipe out a DPS. Or they can just do an attack 3, But anyways, the moral of the story on this is going to be that, let me just throw the heal. That's the Raid 8 gun heal. The moral of the story here is that there is a ton of attack random. There's attack random 1, there's attack random 3, there's attack target. The trash all have it. I believe the legendaries have it too. And we'll talk about the raid bosses when we get there. So attack random is the name of the game. And then going back to my comp, you see I'm running 2 tanks and then 3 DPS. And the reason for that is the boss fight, but again, I'll talk about the boss fight when we get there. Now the artist is, hey, look at that. Look at that. I'm just gonna view him real quick and just to show. So attack 3 random, attack 2 random, like I said. He's got a lot of attack random. Also, why does he have a healing bonus if he doesn't have any healing skills? Can we talk about that for a second? But anyways, let's try to catch one. We fail, of course, and there we go. So trash isn't too horrible. The attack random is a little bit concerning, though, I will say. But we're going to do a full clear through here. I'll yap about a bunch of stuff. We got a handful of folks testing out artist builds. I did post my artist tank and my artist... what's the opposite of tank? DPS, there you go. Artist DPS guides. Those are theory guides because I haven't actually tested them out myself, but usually my theories are pretty okay. And it just comes down to artist DPS has amazing potential if they make a couple tweaks. And those tweaks would be moving the echo talent, making that more accessible, and then kind of reworking some of the organization. I've said this for a long time. I've said this since the moment I saw the talents. The prerequisite lines that say you have to buy this before you can buy that, if they would remove those for every single class, I think we'd see a massive improvement of the whole talent and class system. I don't think it would be busted because you already have a tier system. You already have to spend 10 points in a line before you can get the tier 2 talents, and then you have to spend 20 in a line before you can get the tier 3 talents, and so on. You already have that, so my argument is that you don't need both. It makes it messy, it makes it unclear, and a little bit confusing. But anyways, if they don't remove the lines, which I'm not assuming that's going to happen, if they would just change the organization of the DPS talents, then I think the DPS artist would be in a really, really good position. The only other problem after that is that the DPS artist has bleeds, and bleeds do not stack. So if you make an artist build and your intent is to stack a bunch of bleeds, you can't stack your own bleeds, and if you have two artists on the same team, they cannot stack their bleeds. Now, I don't know if the intent in the long run is to be able to do that. If that is the case, you can stack your own bleeds and you can stack with other people. That completely changes that conversation. But right now, the system is not able to stack the bleeds, and I'll keep you guys updated if that changes. We're going to use this guy too. This is kind of cool. That way I don't have to jump out into the monster interface to show the attacks. I can show it here. I actually don't have any boost on because I'm only going to run one raid. I have 0 boost on right now. Closest enemy, all enemies are random enemies. So that missile skill, this, look, he kind of turns upside down. It's cool. The missile skill can one-shot a DPS, but hey, that's what potions are for. Maybe you get some shields going. So I'll try to persuade him, and of course not, but whatever. All we need to see is the silver one, and then that'll be all the trash. So that's my combo for artist. I'm very excited about artist, DPS, at least. We're going to come back to the boss. I'll do the boss last. And I suggest you guys do the boss last if you're not just autoing this place. But yeah, so if they rearrange a couple things and if they work on bleeds, I think the artist DPS is an amazing spot. I would also like to see them add in a super high strike device. We need a new accessory device. If they would add a super high strike device, and if they want a second on there, they can put speed on there. So like 30% strike, 10% speed. I don't know the numbers. But if that device is in the game, then that completely makes artist strike speed build. I keep calling it strike. It's actually smite. That makes that build completely sing, and more smite gear in the game would be helpful, because if you try to optimize for crit and crit damage, there's a ton of options. You can get tons of crit damage on basically every single item in the game. But smite, not so much. I think if you really, really tried, you could get 40 smite, maybe 60 smite. I think 80 smite is out of the question. And you're probably going to need to get around 60 to 80, maybe even more smite to make that build really sing when you compare it to a crit damage bounty hunter. As far as the artist tank, there's a lot of people like Sork out there testing it. I did a little bit of theory craft. And I think the artist tank is really, really good. There's only 2 problems. The small problem is I do think that Echo could be moved up and made more accessible for DPS builds and for tank builds. That way you're getting some SP, although tanks don't really sweat about SP too much. However, the artist is different because the other issue that the artist tank has, which is the bigger issue, the ultimate ability is the main purpose of being an artist tank. The ultimate ability gives your team 20% of your hit points, which is massive. That could double the amount of hit points that DPS players have. And the problem is you have to cast that ultimate ability every single fight. It costs 20 SP, which is half of your bar, and most tanks don't have enough speed to even get 2 SP. If you look at my character when we get in battle, I don't even know if I'm going to have 2 SP this entire raid run. So I would have to completely change my stats here. I would have to probably switch my attack and switch my speed to be able to use that skill. I'd have to have like 900 attack and 3000 speed just to make it happen. Now the artist build does get 14% speed, but even so, it's just not happening. And one of the problems is in raid, the difference in difficulty. Pay attention when this battle comes in. Let's see if we get attacked. So we get reflected there, and it hits the second spot. The difficulty in raids is that the trash packs are typically super easy, and then the boss pack is really, really hard. So the difference in difficulty between those packs means that my tank is almost never getting hit against the trash, and definitely never getting a chance to attack against the trash, and then against the boss, it's a completely different story. That's one of the reasons why I'm no longer trying to use the little angel pet or shielding pet. I'm not getting hit enough to build up shields significantly enough to make it happen. Anywho, for some reason, Naira is not full SP for full launch, which is a little bit unfortunate. You really want to get 3 full launches off here, but who knows? We'll make it work. Maybe a pet proc will do something. 3 full launches is what you want before the boss. Maybe if I was paying attention a little bit more. Why is Naira not full SP? How would he not be? Maybe he didn't get to complete his full launch and he didn't get the full SP regen. Maybe that's what's going on. We'll be okay. I'm not too worried about it. Boss does a big, massive attack there. We did see the block. I've been told that the boss, the dark one, is he has a ignore armor attack. That's what I'm told. I don't know if that's true. But anywho, Naira finally gets the full launch, so we'll just pop that, and that'll wrap it up. But anyways, going back to the artist tank, if they would make the artist hit point ability either 0 SP cost or even better, make it happen automatically at the start of each battle, that would completely change the artist tank. Every Raid 9 team would want an artist tank, and that would be the wrap on that one. So not too long of a video, running there, full launch everything. You guys kind of get the idea. Let's jump back out. You can see the loot here if you want, click it. It does have, this raid does have a problem with the loot. The intent was to give the player base all these different options. Instead of only having 1 or 2 sets that the players could use, now you have tons and tons of options. You've got 2 new sets with this raid, and you've got these sets from raid 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're now available. They're a little bit different than they used to be. The bonuses have changed and things. But all of that's now available in Raid 9. So the intent was to diversify, give players options. What's kind of happening in reality is now you have 7 different sets, which is like 50 items that can drop in Raid 9. So if you want to focus on one specific set, let's say you really want to get the God set, you're like, this is amazing, it's got Smite, I want to be an artist, so I can use the Smite build, that looks really good, which definitely could work out for you. You now have a drop table with like 40 or 50 items, and it's going to be really difficult to get this. Also, if you look at the store, there is no Raid 9 box, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the boxes are a better idea for a catch-up mechanic so that new players can catch up, so old raids are a little bit easier and quicker and things like that. And if we have the raid boxes now, a lot of people are going to gear up in 1 week, 1 month, whatever, and the content's not going to last that long. So I'm okay with not having the box. The only little caveat to that is that, like I said, when you have 50 different items in the drop table and 7 different sets, how are you ever going to complete your set without a box where you can kind of choose? So who knows, they could add recipes where if you destroy stuff, you get materials, you can do boxes or a crafting recipe or something like that. Based on player feedback, I think that's going to evolve a little bit. And as a new raid, I don't really have any problems with it. I ain't mad. Since we're here and we're staring at the page, let me just buy one of these boxes. I've only got legendaries out of these things, and there you go. So I've got like 50 of those. But anywho, so that's the situation. You want a tank in the second spot. You didn't see it in my attack because we reflected the first attack, but usually the boss opens up with a really nasty attack front 2 skill, and you can put a hybrid in the second spot if you have like an NG or something like that. If your DPS has, I think, 1200 stamina, maybe they could take the hit. Or you can put like a hybrid or somebody tanking the second spot and go for it. But there you go. Not too bad. You can run this with 1 tank and 4 DPS if your DPS are really lacking. But you're probably going to need to potion the person in the second spot. And as far as DPS players, you really want a lot of speed. If you look at the stats here, you really, really want a lot of speed stat and speed bonus percentage. The goal is for you to attack before the enemies, just because everything does so much damage. So I think my team was not attacking before the purple jets, and we definitely weren't attacking before the boss, but we still got it done. So there you go. Keep your eye on things. I'm going to change stuff like I said. I'm going to take off the helmet, and I'm going to take off the back piece, and I'm going to replace that with the Raid 8 to get more hit point bonus. When they fix this bonus, this is going to be really, really good for Guild Boss 5, but if you're not doing Guild Boss 5, you don't really care about that. And if you're more interested in the raids, you're going to want that 2-piece Raid 8 bonus. So, all right, boys. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.